Today we got Cyclops taking on Black Manta. Who wins? Let's find out. The first X-Man, Scott Summers, possesses the mutant ability to draw ambient energy from another dimension through his eyes, especially portals to the dimension, and he usually channels this energy into concussive force blast. He's visually distinctive for the ruby quartz visor wears to control his devastating power. A born leader, Cyclops succeeded his mentor Professor X to command the X-Men. Like I said, Scott has the mutant ability to project powerful beams of force from his eyes, which also operate as extra-dimensional openings to a source of pure energy. Cyclops' mind generates a sonic field that is attuned to the same forces that maintain the openings, and this field envelops his whole body, protecting him from his own power. With these blasts are controlled by his mind sonic field, and as he concentrates, he can control the flow of energy and the power of the beam. The maximum power of Cyclops' blast is really unknown, but it's been commonly described as being able to punch holes through mountains. He's been able to rupture through steel plates, demolish tanks, temporarily hold back the Juggernaut, and destroy Sentinels. Cyclops also possesses an uncanny talent for spatial geometry, which allows him to see angles all around him, and ricochet his optic blast off of objects. He's honed this ability throughout the years, and is easily able to hit multiple targets at the same time. As a member of the X-Men, Scott has undergone extensive combat training, especially proficient in judo and aikido. He's also the X-Men's leader and chief strategist, and it's been remarked that the less time that Scott has to think about a situation, the better it tends to be. Then, in the corner, Black Manta, a notorious pirate and assassin. Black Manta is one of the most ruthless and feared supervillains on Earth, and Aquaman's mortal enemy. Now, Manta actually doesn't have any superhuman powers or abilities, but he's trained himself to near perfection, and is still very dangerous. He's in peak physical condition, particularly in terms of strength, stamina, and agility. Manta's been able to, obviously, battle against and hurt Aquaman. But he's also been able to stab Mazaz, who is the Earth 3 version of Shazam. He's an incredibly, insanely durable for just being a regular guy. Besides just going up against Aquaman, he survived incredibly powerful punches from Mazaz. These were super sweet punches too, so it's safe to say he probably took a lot of them. He was actually alive and conscious after King Shark bit his face off, which is just disgusting. Manta's fast enough to dodge attacks from Deathstroke, who is 9 times faster than the average human, and is actually able to hit a running flash of his eye beams before, which isn't just a testament to Manta's speed, but also his ability to study opponents, study his environment, and figure out where his enemy is going to be at a certain time. Black Manta is a highly disciplined killing machine, and is one of the best assassins the world has ever seen. He's actually managed to develop his own unique fighting style, which is able to be used on land and in water, and relies on his suit and weapons. However, he's a very adaptable fighter, and is able to use the environment and improvise weapons at hand to his advantage. Black Manta has a large arsenal of weapons and equipment of his own design, which he paid for from all of his years as a treasure hunter. His diving suit is completely bulletproof, and grants him a degree of superhuman strength and durability. He's also got his distinct helmet, which is able to fire a powerful optic blast capable of hurting and killing metahumans. And then he's also got daggers, harpoon wires, and a 2-bladed gun, all capable of hurting metahumans. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, while both of these guys obviously have similar powers and are infamous for their laser eyes, they really have so much more to offer than just eye beams. So the first thing we're going to take a look at here is physicality. Who's stronger? Well, that's obviously Black Manta. Cyclops is just as physically strong and durable as around the level of an Olympic-level athlete, which, while impressive, can't quite compete with Black Manta. I mean, we're talking about a guy who is strong enough to throw Aquaman back with just one punch, kick down metal doors, and he overpowered Aqualad while they were under the water. He's even momentarily knocked out Arthur with a punch, and his durability might even be more impressive than his strength. I mean, his suit is designed to take attacks from Atlanteans and metahumans, and because of that, Manta has regularly been able to stem to punches and hits from Aquaman, even when Arthur tackles and throws him through buildings. He's even just got a remarkable amount of pain tolerance, like when King Shark bit his freaking face off, just chomped down on his head, and Manta was still able to remain conscious, attack King Shark, then swim away. Then both of these guys are relatively agile, with Cyclops regularly being able to dodge attacks, and Black Manta has even managed to tag the Flash before. Although, really don't believe that Flash was going anywhere close to full speed. However, this fight really isn't going to come down to sheer physicality. No, I'd put more stock in their fighting ability and their powers. Now, both of these guys are actually relatively skilled and experienced combatants. Black Manta's been fighting against Aquaman for years, who was already a very skilled fighter, and Manta has been able to fight evenly against Arthur even when they're surrounded by water, so on Arthur's home turf. He's fought against the Suicide Squad all by himself, fought against Deathstroke, will defeat members of the League of Assassins, and he's even killed several guards with just a coin. Manta is kinda undersold, but he's a real dangerous fighter and someone who you definitely wouldn't want to cross paths with. But Cyclops, someone you wouldn't want to mess with either. He's skilled in fighting styles like Judo and Aikido, has been able to fight against multiple opponents all while keeping his eyes closed, and Scott has even fought against whole X-Men teams by himself while they were training. He's actually incredibly skilled at using his optic beams while in a fight, which is one of the main reasons why he's able to fight against whole X-Men teams by himself, or fight against and actually beat Wolverine in combat. Then, being the leader of the X-Men, well, Cyclops is actually one of the most gifted tactical, strategic minds in the entire Marvel Universe. He's an expert at analyzing opponents and planning his attacks. Actually, analyzing and predicting when an opponent will change their tactics, and in doing so, remain one step ahead of them. In fact, during the battle with Juggernaut, when Cain Marko was rampaging and destroying downtown San Francisco, Cyclops actually just scoffed at the idea that he had just thought of 26 different ways to take the Juggernauts down. Those are the kind of fighters that we're talking about here. But finally, probably the most important thing, how do their powers and I-beams compare? Well, Cyclops is actually kinda insanely powerful. Like Scott has actually said before, that he's enough power to rip a small planet in half, or that he's capable of pulverizing adamantium. I mean, this has never actually been backed up though, so take it as you will. However, Cyclops has held back World War Hulk with his blast. Overloaded Bishop, whose primary power is the ability to absorb energy. He's torn down forest, pummeled through the Earth's bedrock. He's even blasted through a small mountaintop. He's shot down an incoming airplane, blasted it straight through a sentinel. And he's even narrowed the beam to where it was so thin it would pierce right through the blob. Cyclops is also famous for his ability to ricochet shots, to the point where he's on par with Captain America in terms of mastering the ricochet. He's able to ricochet his blast to hit people behind him, take down multiple opponents all at the same time, and is able to ricochet his blast against 8 different surfaces in order to hit a small switch. He's just got an uncanny ability for spatial awareness and geometry, allowing him to make all these incredible shots. Remember, like I mentioned before, Cyclops uses his optic blast in close combat as well, which is why he's able to defeat Wolverine in a fight. However, there is a major problem with Cyclops and his optic blast in this fight. They actually don't produce any heat, just a concussive force blast. It's just like being hit with something. If you really get down to the core of it, Cyc's blasts aren't significantly different than taking a punch from a superhuman. It's just force hitting you. That's kind of problematic, because Manta is durable enough to take punches from a blood-lusted Aquaman. And Aquaman has made Superman bleed with his punches on several different occasions. On the other hand, Black Manta's eye blasts are both force and heat, hot enough to destroy Aquaman's armor, actually burn Arthur himself, where Arthur is usually able to swim through lava just fine. So if Manta is able to tag Cyclops with his optic blast, even just a little, well, it's gonna do some significant damage just with that heat and those burns alone. And it's not just the eye beams that Black Manta is packing, but he's got electricity powerful enough to phase Aquaman, a harpoon gun on his wrist that can pierce through Aquaman's hardened skin and can even explode in a massive explosion. It's got knives and swords that it can electrify as well. So Manta isn't limited just to optic blast like Cyclops is. However, with that being said, Cyclops is still more skilled with optic blast, having mastered the ricochet, and his blasts are just more powerful in raw force output as well. He's also got an infinite amount of energy to tap into, while Manta's eye beams can shut it down once the battery is drained. So, end of the day, who wins? Well, I think something we haven't talked about that is vitally important to this fight is morals. If one of these guys is a hero, the other a villain. Cyclops will hold back at the beginning of the fight, since he doesn't know who Black Manta is or what he's capable of. He's not going to release this massive blast that will punch right through and annihilate Manta and everything around him. That's just not who Scott is. I just don't think the majority of Cyclops' blasts are going to do too much damage to Black Manta. I mean, there's really nothing about Manta that just by looking at him screams that he can easily take punches from Aquaman. So I believe the majority of the time, Cyclops is going to be shooting beams that are below Manta's weight class. By the time that Cyclops catches on to just how durable Black Manta really is, well, it might be too late. Because Manta will have no qualms of killing Cyclops right on the spot. He is a villain after all. He can use his optic blast to burn Scott with heat that's hotter than lava. And Cyclops really has no way to stand up to this. I mean, he's a mutant, but he's not superhumanly strong or durable. And on top of that, Manta can stab him with swords, electrocute him, or even just blow him up with an explosive harpoon. Cyclops definitely has more raw power, and will also be able to claim some victories with his skills in ricochet shots. But I gotta give this one to Black Manta. He's durable enough to take a lot of the attacks from Scott. He's definitely got the potential to quickly put Cyclops down, and he has no problem with instantly killing him as soon as the fight starts. I mean, we gotta remember, this is a guy who regularly fights against and beats Aquaman. He really shouldn't be taken lightly. I gotta give this one to Black Manta. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sign up in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button for more videos every single day, and I will see you next time.